I'm Dr. Rema Sharon, Assistant Professor, School of English, Kumarguru College of Liberal Arts and Science. Welcome to this exploration of poetry through 3 poems, The Bird Sanctuary by Sarojini Naidu, Meeting at Night by Robert Browning, and A Different History by Sujata Butt. Let's start defining poetry. Poetry is an art form that uses the aesthetic and rhythmic qualities of language to create a powerful emotional experience. Unlike prose, poetry often relies on concise language, rhythmic patterns, and vivid imagery, designed to resonate deeply with readers. The purpose of poetry is often to evoke universal themes, concepts like love, freedom, identity, and nature. Through poetry, poets capture the human experience from joy and beauty to loss and hardship, allowing us a unique introspective perspective on the world. The genres and styles of poetry. Poetry spans many genres and styles. Lyric poetry, for instance, emphasizes personal emotions. Narrative poetry tells a story, often with characters and events. Free verse is unconstrained by rhyme or meter, giving poets flexibility to express unique ideas. We also see the sonnet, which, with rich in structure, lending itself to profound expressions of love and philosophy. Throughout this presentation, we will examine how our chosen poets use these styles and devices to give voice to the complex themes of their work. Let's begin with Sarojini Naidu's The Bird Sanctuary, a poem that offers a lyrical view of nature's beauty and diversity. The Bird Sanctuary. Overview of the poem. The Bird Sanctuary by Sarojini Naidu is a beautifully descriptive poem that transports us to sanctuary for birds. Naidu's work often speaks to themes of freedom and unity, reflected here in her depiction and birds coexisting peacefully in an idealized setting. In The Bird Sanctuary, Naidu imagines a refuge where birds from diverse backgrounds, different species, colors, and voices find harmony. Through her detailed imagery, she shows the birds as symbols of freedom and resilience, making this place not just a physical sanctuary but a metaphorical one. Her lyrical structure, which combines a musical flow with rich, vivid language, enhances the sense of calm and beauty. Let's analyze the themes Naidu explores in this poem and the poetic devices she uses to bring her vision to life. The analysis and themes. Bird Sanctuary celebrates themes of freedom and sanctuary, suggesting a world where peace and protection are offered to all. The Bird Sanctuary represents nature at its most welcoming, embodying peace, harmony, and a sanctuary where diversity is celebrated and not threatened. Freedom and sanctuary. Naidu's sanctuary is a metaphor for a safe haven, a place where all are free to thrive in a protective environment. Diversity in nature. The variety of birds symbolizes a harmonious multicultural society. Naidu's poems seem to reflect her vision of India and its rich, diverse cultural heritage. Imagery and symbolism. Naidu uses imagery to give readers a sense of the bird's colors, sounds, and movements, creating a paradise of coexistence. Each bird species symbolizes a unique culture or community united in one peaceful habitat. Her tone is celebratory and gentle, emphasizing the sacredness of nature. Through this tone, she invites us to appreciate the sanctuary's beauty and reflect on our relationship with nature. Next, we will shift our focus to Meeting at Night by Robert Browning, a poem that captures the thrill of a passionate journey. An overview of the poem, Meeting at Night. Robert Browning, known for his dramatic monologues, brings us a short yet intense poem in Meeting at Night. The poem recounts a lover's journey through the night to meet someone special, illustrating the powerful emotions of love and anticipation. The poem structure is brief, divided into 2 parts that capture both the journey and the moment of union. As the lovers move through the sea and across the landscape, Browning uses sensory language to make us feel the excitement and urgency of each step. Now, let's delve into the key themes of Meeting at Night, and examine how Browning's poetic techniques help convey the intense emotion of this nocturnal encounter. Analysis and themes of the poem. Browning's Meeting at Night captures themes of romantic longing and anticipation, encapsulated within the lover's journey. The night journey reflects both a literal and metaphorical pursuit of love, highlighting the idea that love often requires effort and persistence. The themes, love and desire. The journey reflects the theme, depth of romantic longing as the lover overcomes obstacles to reach the beloved. Journey and anticipation. The physical movement across land and sea symbolizes the emotional journey of love with all its anticipation and thrill. The analysis, imagery and personification. Browning uses vivid, sensory-rich imagery to evoke immediacy. For instance, the waves' movement and colors of the sky amplify the feeling of suspense. Browning establishes a mood of excitement and intimacy. The tension builds with each step, reflecting the lover's deep emotions. This pacing creates an intensity that mirrors the beating of a heart. Our final poem, A Different History by Sujata Bhatt, offers a reflective critique on cultural colonization and identity. Let's move on to explore it. A Different History. Overview of the poem. Sujata Bhatt's A Different History presents a thoughtful exploration of cultural identity inspired by her experience as an Indian poet with a multicultural background. In this poem, Bhatt addresses the impact of colonialism on Indian heritage, questioning how language and culture transform under foreign influence. Set in free verse, A Different History has a controversial yet introspective tone. Bhatt's reflection on her heritage is tinged with both reverence for India's tradition and a critique of the changes brought by Western influence, especially through language. Let's now analyze the themes Bhatt addresses and the poetic devices she uses to portray the cultural complexities in A Different History. The analysis and themes. In A Different History, Bhatt confronts themes of cultural identity and heritage with a focus on how colonial languages impact indigenous culture. Her words invite readers to think about the complexities of living within two cultures, a common experience for many in today's world. Cultural identity. Bhatt explores the tension between retaining one's native culture and embracing foreign influences. The heritage and language. The poem addresses the idea of colonial languages infiltrating indigenous culture, questioning the loss of original identity and language. Moving on to the analysis, tone and symbolism. Bhatt uses a reflective and critical tone, questioning how foreign elements like language shape a culture's identity. Her references to gods, books, and cultural icons convey an internal struggle with maintaining cultural integrity. The imagery, the use of imagery and symbols, such as the deities and the library, emphasizes the sacredness of cultural elements that are vulnerable to change. In our final slide, let's summarize the key insights and draw a comparison between the themes of each poem. Conclusion and comparative. To conclude, let's examine the common threads and unique perspectives offered by each poem. Nature and sanctuary. In the Bird Sanctuary and Meeting at Night, nature is depicted as a source of peace and excitement. The sanctuary represents a place of refuge, while Browning's journey suggests lovers' pursuit. The cultural reflection. A Different History brings a distinct perspective focusing on the challenges of cultural preservation amid change. Bhatt's reflection on heritage contrasts with the harmonious portrayals of nature in the other two poems. The impact of poetic devices, imagery and symbolism. Imagery and symbolism unify these poems, making abstract concepts like freedom, love, and identity relatable. Emotional resonance. Each poem's tone, whether gentle, intense, or reflective, enhances its message, connecting us with the universal human experience. Final thoughts together. The Bird Sanctuary, Meeting at Night, and a different history urge us to consider themes of love, identity, and cultural preservation. They encourage reflection on how we relate to each other, to nature, and to our own heritage. By exploring these poems, we gain insight into the beauty and complexity of human emotions and cultural identity. Thank you for listening, and I hope these poems have inspired you to think more deeply about the powerful role of poetry in exploring our shared experiences and values.